awesome. Christina, could you, Christina, tell us what taxes you support and why.
Thank you, Steve, for that question. I actually don't support any new taxes right now, and here's why. I think that the role of government spending in an economy is to counterbalance the private sector cycles. I think what we need to develop in this city, in this state, in this country is the discipline to save money when we have bad economic times, when we have good economic times, so that when the private sector is down, government can then spend, and we don't face a situation where people are both unemployed and losing services. So right now, we're in the second longest contraction of our economy since the Great Depression. I think it's the worst time to raise taxes. 100% of zero is zero. We need to increase the tax base with more business-friendly policies. Thank you for the question.
Hello, Matt. So, the sign on the wall says you support the civil lie ordinance. How can you rebuild trust with the police when you keep supporting measures to criminalize our poor, our youth, and our immigrants?
Thanks for that question. Actually, civil lie is something that we need to all look at because business owners need to make sure that there is access to their business. If I had written the ordinance, I would have written it so that it's specific to certain neighborhoods. But since I didn't get to write it and all I can do is vote for it, what I'd like to say is that I support it because I support business in the city. It is the backbone of the city, and if businesses are being impacted by not having their clientele be able to get in, or them getting in, then we have an issue that has to be addressed. And it's just a matter of economics. I wish it was neighborhood specific, but it's not. I didn't write it, but as it stands, I do support it because I do support business in the city. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Smith.
Yes, Ms. Cohen.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Well, let me not keep you waiting. Please tell us, our friends and our neighbors, what is your plan to protect small businesses?
Thank you, Ms. Cohen. One of the beauties of community benefits is that you can use some of that funding to seed businesses, to grow social enterprises. When I was in Washington, I worked with a lot of different business improvement districts. Why don't we have something like that in our 3rd Street? Why don't we get some of these community benefits to pay for some new enterprises? We don't have any clubs on 3rd Street. We've got a few shops. Where are the places that we can go for entertainment? We can go to Dog Patch. We can go over to District 5. Why don't we have that here? Oh, we can go to Sam Jordan's and some good barbecue. I like it. Those are the kinds of things we need. We need to invest in the community. It's almost a Kwanzaa-like principle. Those are the things we need to do. I believe as a supervisor, you can put pressure on the banks that hold loans on some of these buildings that lay fallow. You can make them do the right thing and put some pressure on them for some of the shady, crazy lending practices they have.
Malia. That's you.
It did sound like Malia.
Malia, what new sources of revenue might you be willing to explore in order to help balance our budget deficit?
Thank you for the question, Whit. Earlier I talked a little bit about businesses and the need to support the growing small business community here in not just in San Francisco, but overall in the Southeast. And when we look at how the businesses are structured, they're oppressive. And what I would like to see is a new revenue stream would be a new business tax model that would allow businesses to grow and not stifle them or disincentivize small businesses for actually expanding. And that actually would be twofold. It would also provide a source of income for the community, but it would also provide jobs. And we all can agree here with a 30% unemployment rate right here in our community that jobs is the number one priority for all of us and number one concern for our community. Thank you, DeWitt.
Sweet.
District 10 being the first district and with a lot of economic woes, what have you personally done within District 10 to help stimulate economic development, and what have you done to help with some of the safety issues that have come to light recently?
I'll answer the safety issues first because I was part of the San Francisco District Attorney's Office. And I help prosecute crimes like sex crimes or molesters who have threatened the security of our children at their schools. What have I done for the economic disparity? I definitely helped out and donated my time and volunteered to taught financial empowerment trainings on behalf of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. As well, I advocated to the Bayview PAC a plan to make sure that those job benefits actually go to the people here. It's called liquidated damages. Liquidated damages, those are things that we can put into the community benefits agreement that aren't in there now, which makes those jobs more secure. Beyond that, just being an advocate and civil rights attorney, that's how I've helped and benefited the community.
Tony.
Bring it.
I too have a massive amount of respect for you. Really what I'd like to ask you and all of the candidates is, if you get elected to the Board of Supervisors and re-elected, 8 years down the road, what are the tangible achievements that you want to point to that have made life significantly better for the residents of this district?
You know, I kind of want to put a line on my website just because the students make my ideas look big. Because I think it's important for a supervisor to actually try to do a lot of big things. And I'll just mention one here that I'm talking about forums. We have a $6.5 billion budget, which means we have $2.8 to $3 billion every day that sits in banks, commercial banks around town. Those banks lend money to the folks outside the city. They make profits on that. We pay millions of dollars in fees on that money. But that money should be working for us. So one thing that I would say is a stamp I want to put on the city is really do work to try to create either a municipal bank or do that kind of work through credit unions to leverage the full power of our city reserves to make a new credit market. It can be our own stimulus package. We can use it for support of local businesses, creating quality jobs. We can do that ourselves, just like the state of North Dakota. The only state in the union that has a state-owned bank is the only state in the union that has a profit this year. So we're looking at a budget. That's what we can do. That's what